All right. Good morning. We got Russ Yeager here this morning. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about fitness. We're going to talk about the things that everybody needs to know. So welcome to episode 1 of BEGrowthDriven. We're so thrilled to have Russ Yeager here, 2-time 10X pitch winner, right? Russ, tell us a little bit about that recently. I think some of the people tuning in, that might be top of mind right away.
Yeah, definitely, Joel. A pleasure to be on, man. I'm thrilled to be here with you and John. And the first episode, right?
Yeah, first episode.
All right, man.
In boot camp, we're like, we got to make this happen. So
it's going to be all downhill from here. No, I'm joking. I'm a humble guy. So yeah, man. So I've been following Grant Cardone for a few years. I know a lot of your listeners are probably in the 10X Nation, and just like a lot of business owners, I've tried a lot of different things. I've failed a lot of different ways. I've learned a lot of lessons, and finding someone, we were just talking about this before the call, like, people starting out, they don't know where to go. They're looking for guidance, and they'll go look, on social media and find these people to get advice from. And a lot of people are getting advice from Grant, and his advice is unbelievable, but then they'll hear somebody else say something else and it's conflicting, and then they're paralyzed. And so one thing I've learned is you can have multiple mentors, but if you should really go deep on one person. And like Grant Cardone, he's not the only mentor, but look, the guy is almost a billionaire, if not a billionaire. He's grown successfully and consistently multiple different types of successful business. He scaled those businesses. So, be really careful who you listen to. And then again, pick one person to really go all in on, instead of having all these different. I've made this mistake. I mean, I've made every mistake. I don't know how much we're going to get into today, but finding one person and then going deep on that person. But I've been following Grant for a few years. A friend gave me a copy of the 10X rule, and I was like, man, who is this guy? This is outstanding.
Right.
It motivated me. Started applying it. I got on Cardone University. I was able to scale my brick and mortar business to 7 figures, and then at GrowthCon 2, I heard Grant say, I had my little businesses, we're doing good. And, Grant's always challenging you. He's like, if you can help more people, it's your duty and obligation. I was like, damn, that's inspiring. And so literally I came up with the idea to create Body Transformation University, which is my version of transforming your body, physical body health. And I literally at GrowthCon 2, I got to tell this story really briefly. I had 5 minutes last weekend at the boot camp, but I made it with the idea of saying, I'm going to partner with Grant and put this into part of Cardone University, because literally it's the only thing Cardone University is missing is the physical body. And I believe this sincerely, that putting your health first is the most important thing you can do for your business, because of the immediate energy, confidence you get. When you're healthy, fit, energetic, this, Joel, you walk in to the meetings you're having, the office, your interactions with your vendors, your employees, your customers, a different person. And then you have that health and longevity so that you can actually sustain yourself and be around long enough to reach your full potential in your business. And so that was my plan. Then fast forward to GrowthCon 3 in Miami, literally, and I haven't told this part of the story publicly.
Oh, no, I'd love to hear this.
Okay, so yeah, so my wife and I sitting there, and you went to Miami, right?
Yeah, I did. That was, I gotta say, only can I imagine Grant pulling off an event like that, where you pack out a stadium
on Super Bowl weekend.
Super Bowl weekend, and you skydive into the place,
and everybody stayed till the end on Sunday.
Exactly. No, it was phenomenal.
So my wife, he's talking on stage. I'm always listening. I mean, that's one thing, you can say I could talk. But when I see somebody like Grant, I'm really listening to what they're saying and trying to learn. And so he said, get attention. And I'm an investor in Cardone Capital. And so Captain Ryan, who's his pilot, started with Grant's pilot, but for people who don't know, now runs his Cardone Capital, real estate company. They have over $2 billion in real estate. I know him because I invest. So I grabbed Captain Ryan. I'm like, dude, give me 5 minutes on the stage with Grant. And I got this great idea, body transformation. I'm throwing up on him. And he's like, dude, I can't do that. Jared's the guy for that. I'm like, well, where's Jared? And he's like, that's not going to happen at this event. Like, we're packed out. He said, and so then the next day, Pete Vargas goes up to speak. And he's the one who if people don't know, he helps people get on stages. They have their program, how to win stages and how to scale stages and grow your business winning stages. And Captain Ryan walks by. He doesn't even say anything, points at me and points to the stage. And I knew that he meant, if you want to get on the stage, listen to this guy.
Right.
And so Pete does his whole thing. And they give the opportunity to sign up for the stages. I think it was an 8-week coaching program with him and Pat Quinn and Grant. I'm like, oh, I got to do this. This is this. And then they say one person who signs up for the program is going to speak on the 10X stage next year. I'm like, holy crap, this is my chance. And literally, and this is like maybe one of the best lessons I can share, even though I knew it's what I wanted, I knew it was my chance. It's like, God, here's a silver platter opportunity. My mind, I start having those doubts. Well, there's going to be so many people. Will I really win? I got to spend the money. It wasn't that much money. It's a couple $1,000.
Right.
But then the time, I'm already doing I'm busy with my business, all the crap we tell ourselves.
Yeah, you gotta lean in. You're gonna have to. It's like, hey, I could focus my energy over here, and I'd get this return. I already know it.
100%, man. And my wife Emily's like, no, you're doing this, and you're gonna be on stage. And so I'm signing up, and literally I cross out. It says include me in the opportunity, on the registration form to speak on the 10X stage. I literally crossed it out, wrote in, I will speak on the 10X stage, and I made that intention, and then. Last February, GrowthCon 4, I literally spoke on the 10X stage, right after Pete, with Kevin Hart and John Travolta. I got to come out to my, theme music and, the smoke. And it was just one of the greatest experiences of my life. And, kind of got on, Grant's radar. But then COVID hit and, we're all trying to scramble and survive. And then literally, just a few weeks ago, Grant did the 10X challenge. And again, I'll give you all of the behind the scenes stuff because I'm a totally transparent guy and I like to share.
I love it.
My mistakes and just how little decisions can make a difference. He was doing this long, again, a lot of you guys know 10X challenge. It was supposed to be 10 days, ended up being like 14 days. And
it was insane. It was insane.
Unbelievable. Insane. I almost didn't do it, Joel.
Yeah.
I was like, I know it's going to be great, but it's 5 p.m. Eastern. That's when we're getting my kids. I have 3 kids. I have a 4-year-old son, 3-year-old twin boy and girl, which I know sounds impossible. And that's when we're getting them. We're getting dinner. And I was like, it's free. I'm sure it's good, but I'd rather do the higher end paid stuff. And Grant talks about that. Some people, you need to have different levels because some people won't do the free thing. But I said, no, I need to do this. Like, I need to do it. And then Pete Vargas speaks and he says, hey, one of you guys is going to get to pitch Grant your business. And I'm like, holy crap, this is it. And you had to do the $2,000 VIP. So, and I think there was a $97 option. It's on Zoom. So this is another lesson. Like you think about it, it's Zoom. It's all the same Zoom. Everybody's got a front row seat.
Right.
You get a $97 ticket or you get a $2,000 ticket. But the $2,000 ticket gave me the opportunity to go speak, to go pitch Grant Cardone, or at least to put in a 3-minute video. And literally I'm calling. So, and you know how Grant is, he makes up stuff on the spot. I'm calling the office every day. I'm like, this is my shot. What has the contest work? What I need to do? Nobody really knew what was going on. Thursday before the boot camp, I get a text Thursday, 3:00 that they're starting the VIP pre-coaching. And I'm like, oh, I got to get on. And then they said, hey, and I hear, Grant and Jared, hey, you guys that are doing the pitch off, your 3-minute video is due tonight. If you didn't do the live training yesterday with Pat and Pete, make sure you go watch that. I'm like, holy crap, I didn't even hear that. So I go back, watch the training, and then I got to put my kids down 8:00, and it's due at midnight. So I start, writing out my script, my 3-minute video. I start shooting it. And I was going to try to be creative and do Loom, which is where you can show your screen, right? And so I'm trying to show my Body Transformation University program, do like a little demo and show me at the same time. Finally, about 10:30, I get a good take. I'm like, I'm good. and I'm looking back at it, and it's my mouth is not matching up. There's something wrong with this loom. So I'm like, I can't send that in. I was like, I gotta do it just with my phone. So I get the phone out, start doing it. And I'm a morning guy. So it's past 11 o'clock at night now. And I'm starting to get tired, mentally fatigued. And I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get that. I keep messing up. And then finally, and this is where I believe like the physical training and toughness I've gone through with workouts. I was like, dude, you have to get this done. And literally right before midnight, I get a good take. I send it in, end up making the top 30, end up making the top 10. So as you know, got to pitch Grant my business live last Saturday night or 2 Saturday nights ago, 5 minutes, and got him and Jared, extremely interested in literally partnering together. Won $10,000, which was pretty cool. So invested $2,000, right? Won $10,000. And then immediately put that back in to their accelerator program to continue my education. As Grant says, you invest in yourself and your business, you can't lose that. And then I've already gotten 2 new clients that just saw me on that stage and reached out, said, hey, I want to work with you. I mean,
so really it's you took those leaps, those challenges, and I mean, you're seeing immediate payback. That's the thing.
Immediate, dude.
Awesome. I love it.
Let me step in here for a sec, because I think a lot of people that are seeing you kind of come from a little bit of my perspective. So I've somewhat followed Grant over the years through kind of real estate investing. I was in the military for 15 years and kind of dabbled here and there with it. And the reason why I actually came and worked for Joel was because in his job ad, it specifically said, you will do Cardone Sales University every single day. And I was like, well, that's the place that I want to work. So that's what I went and did. But I'm coming at this with fresh eyes. And so like, not knowing any of that backstory, which is incredible. And then I know I shared with you on a LinkedIn message too, as you're getting ready for it and stuff. Number one, I was like, hey, good luck today. We're rooting for you. And you got up there. And I mean, everybody that was up there, even the ones that didn't do necessarily a fantastic job, the fact that they were even on the stage pitching their business, no matter what it was, and getting over the jitters, getting over the fears, and just getting after it was awesome to see. And I'm sitting there on the couch, going through some of it. Some of them are better than others, and they're getting progressively better. And then you get on there, and like by the end of your pitch, I'm just like standing up going like, yes, like he just knocked that out of the park. It was one of the coolest things to see. And after going through all of your backstory and kind of that's my experience, I think a lot of other people who are newer to the ecosystem inside Cardone's network saw that. And now that they have some of this information, it's like, well, there's all these things that you've been doing. Of course you would have knocked it out of the park. Of course you would have done that. Like, you've mentioned little decisions that are in there all through that path. Is there any one specific decision that has truly meant more than the other decisions, or has it just been a series of little decisions for you?
It's a great question. First of all, John, I appreciate I remember your message of support, and we'd never met, personally at that point. Yeah. And when you said you stood up and cheered, like that was awesome. And I get a lot of great messages. I literally responded to everyone. So I was so thankful for that, like that support. It's a great question. And again, Grant addressed this at the boot camp, because you hear people talk about the life-changing decision, right?
Right.
And I've always wondered, well, which is my life-changing decision? Because I have like 10 of them. And he made the comment, it's like, it's not one decision. So to answer your question, it's a series. He said like, every day you've got to recommit to what you're doing. And as you like I'm 45 now, like the 45-year-old version of me has different, knowledge, skills, abilities, goals, and dreams than the 35 version or the 25-year-old version. And I know the 55-year-old version, 65-year-old version of me will be different. So I think it's an ongoing thing, man. And it's making those little decisions, but some things are bigger than others. Like, when I decided to meet my wife, and this might sound a little foo-fooey, but I can tell you, meeting my wife and getting on Grant Cardone's stage twice and winning, actually, in a contest, out of thousands of people in the same year, all came from making the intention. It's the old secret. Everybody bashes on the secret. Like that stuff's true. The problem, the only thing the secret's missing is you got to do in the work. I mean, you got to do the work. I mean, people see lots of times, oh, like you said, you're on the stage, you did great. It's easy for you, but like they don't see the mistakes, the doubts, the fears, the repetition, the hard work, that goes into it, the work on yourself. And having an opportunity like that, again, to pitch Grant Cardone with my business, like if I hadn't been doing hard work on myself and making little decisions, over the past 20 years, I wouldn't have been, even if I somehow got that shot, I wouldn't have been ready to deliver in a way that needed to be delivered to actually get their attention. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I also, I mean, you mentioned in your story as you're getting this stuff ready too, and I certainly see it in my life where it's just that small decision after you've had dinner with your family when you're getting ready. I have a 7-year-old, a young girl that's about to turn 5, and then an 18-month-old. And so like trying to get them wrangled for bedtime and bath time, and then putting them down to bed. By the time, all the sound machines are going, I've sang all the songs, I've read the books, like I'm ready to go to bed at that point. But that's also kind of when at least I have to get back into what it is. Hey, there's something I got to get done and get prepared for the next day. And like, it's that little decision to go, I'm not just going to go lay down. Maybe I should spend a little bit of time, dedicated personal time with my wife, give her my full attention for, however long that she needs it for. But then I also got to get my day ordered. And that to me kind of sounds very much like when you're talking about, you got to push through, you're using your, the workouts that you've done, the mental aspect of having to push yourself to failure in a workout and getting that diligence and that discipline to keep going. It even matters even in those small times with your family, when it matters, when there's the small sacrifices too. And so I'd love to hear that from your story as well. I think that's actually really impactful for newbies who are looking to make it,
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, you have small children. Like that is the this business stuff's hard, working out hard. At least for me, that's the hardest thing. I mean, you got these little kids who are, they're especially when they're young, they're 100% dependent on you. They're 100%, selfish, and they can be, I had a lady at the grocery store. I somehow told her I had a 4-year-old son. I don't remember how it came up. I was getting him something, I guess, and 3-year-old twin boy and girl. She said, "Oh, I had twins." Yeah, that's like raising drunk midgets. That's like the best description I've ever heard. So it can be like that, but it's making those little decisions. You can be worn out, like you said. You get them down, sound machines on, and you just want to lay down. But it's like one of the things I was taught a long time ago. So lots of times we're worried about what should I be doing, my to-do list, what I need to do to do today. And I was taught to, instead of worrying about your to-do list, like, what do you want? What's your outcome? 5 years, 10 years from now, and then do those activities that are going to get you to that outcome, whether you feel like it or not. I did a video yesterday. I just wasn't feeling it. I was like, what do you do when you're not feeling it? Because it's easy when you're motivated, man, to get a lot of stuff done. If you're not feeling it, it's easy to have a day where you literally did nothing or nothing productive. So if I'm having a day where I'm not feeling it, I'm like, okay, I got to at least get, 2 or 3 really important things done. One may be my workout. One may be reaching out to a customer to see how they're doing. One may be reaching out to, a couple of prospects. So you at least do a couple of small things to move yourself forward. So even when you have a quote unquote bad day, you're still making progress towards where you want to go.
Do you take a moment at the end of the day to do that reflection on like, what did you meaningfully succeed at that day? I mean, to be real, I don't know about you, but it's like for myself, I take that moment to look at the end of the day. I'm like, okay, be honest with yourself. What did you achieve today, and why didn't you achieve it? Because maybe it's something you can correct the next day, right?
Yeah, I do. So my little, everybody's got their different routine. My thing is kind of when I do it when I'm in the car. I'm all about no extra time. So when I'm driving, I do my gratitude. I do 3 things that I'm grateful for. I think about it. It can be, something big. It can be simple things. I do my, little prayers. And then I just go through my mind. I have my 10 big goals, that I've written out. And then I, my dream life, and I just visualize that, speak to that. And then I say, okay, what do I need to do today? Top 3 things to go achieve that. And then at nighttime, as I'm falling asleep, I have to do at least 3 things that I'm grateful for, in the day that either, I did, grateful because I took action to do something, that was challenging, or just grateful that, hey, I got lucky and a client, somebody called me out of the blue and said they want to, work with me. I look at it both ways. I look at more very results oriented. Yes, you have to put in the work to get results, but I want to, and I've talked to my team about this a lot. Like, I want the result. Like, I'd rather you get a great result putting in less effort and not being worn out than tell me I'm working 80 hours a week, but you're not producing anything. So I'm always grateful for the results in my life.
I like that. Because I think a lot of times people will do that. You hear the old saying is, work smarter, not harder. And I've always taken myself like the attitude of, okay, work smart and work hard, and take that approach. So once you figure out how to work smart, now work really hard at it.
Work hard at the right things. Yeah, 100%.
But, really I think a lot of people, for a lot of folks, maybe it's that what would deem this as a very successful result, and of course throw the 10X on there, man, 10 times that's your target, and look at, okay, how did I chip away at this today?
Yeah. You got to know your outcome too. You got to know your outcome, and to kind of, to your point earlier, John, like it's repetition. I've been following Grant, I think it's 4 years now, at this boot camp. Not only did I, have that amazing opportunity to pitch him and potentially partner with them, but outside, let's say that doesn't go through, I literally figured out and got so much clarity how I'm going to 10X my business. And when I say 10, a lot of people throw that term out, 10X, yeah. Like financially, top line gross revenue, 10X my business, next year. And it's like, it just became clear to me, but it keeps, going back in the arena and continuing to learn, continuing to hear things over and over, continuing to, put yourself in those environments where you can not only learn, but, hear that one thing or hear it the right way where it just kind of clicks for you.
I got a question for you here too on business. If we can shift to that just a little bit more. So we're in business the whole time anyway here too, but looking at like this year has been a doozy for a lot of businesses. Mm-hmm. Just the way, and I personally think that we're in for a bit of a roller coaster still. So this is, I think, a very important question here to ask is, how quickly did you pivot?
Really quickly.
Right. What information did you wait for, I guess, before you pivoted?
Yeah. So I'm not a news guy. I'm not a political guy. Like, I literally don't watch. Somebody taught me years ago, Lee Miltier, one of my early mentors, said, watching the news is like putting poison in your veins. And that just like stuck to me.
True.
So I literally don't, like, people will say, did you hear about, the earthquake down the street from me? No, and then the point was, hey, if it's important enough, people are going to tell you about it anyway. And so I hear this COVID thing, whatever. And then one of my clients, who's an ER doctor, he said, this is going to be bad. This was beginning of March. And it kind of got my attention, but I'm always doing my own thing. Like, I don't worry about outside stuff I can't control. And then when shit hits the fan, everybody's freaking out, mid-March, you see the Northeast getting shut down. I pulled together a meeting. I joined Grant Cardone's mentor program. I was like, I need to plug in with these guys to get some strong mentorship to get through this, and got some incredible advice, support, ideas. And then I brought my team together, and I was like, look, guys, this is going to be the hardest thing we've ever gone through. We're going to have to work twice as hard to make the same money or less. If you want to go on that journey with me, we're going for it. I said, we're either going to go down swinging. We're going down swinging. Like, we're not just going to sit on our hands. And so I went straight into, as Grant gave the speech, straight into the fire. And I saw the Northeast shutting, looking back, it's like, it wasn't a rocket science. I said, Northeast is getting shut down. Gyms are getting shut down first. That's my primary business. We're going to get shut down. We're not going to wait. We got to figure it out now. So we figured out how to do online Zoom, one-on-one coaching. And so we were prepared. And so sure enough, when we got shut down, we were seamlessly went into one-on-one coaching, and our clients were doing it, which was good, and they were liking it. So I was like, okay, this is a good first sign. But we started getting no new leads, like no new inquiries. I'm trying to advertise the virtual, and everybody just kind of paralyzed. And so the question was, our current clients are doing it. They've already bought their package of sessions. Most of our clients prepay for sessions. Big question, when they run out of sessions, are they going to buy another package, or are they just using it because they have it? And they started re-signing. We call it buying other packages. They're like, okay, we're going to be okay. We're going to make it. We can survive on, we built up a loyal client base, and our clients were so loyal to us. Online business didn't take a hit because I'm already, doing it online anyways. A lot of my guys have their own gym at home, which was very useful this year. Some of them didn't. So we had to get super creative on how to train at home, but they were still able to do it. But I have a great one-on-one coach, and he's like, keep marketing, don't pull back. I just went all offense. And so I'm pouring, thousands and thousands of dollars into marketing every month with no result. But I knew that if I did that, I knew everybody else was either doing nothing, retreating, or just burying their head in the sand. And so now we've seen so we had 3 months, no new leads. We're living off our current clients. And then about July, maybe June, July, we started getting some leads. And now we're busier than ever. We're getting so many leads from our marketing. And my theory is because we never quit. So we were getting our name out there. We were being the ones there the whole time. And I think the competition is wiped out. Most people are either gone, or they're still just, I know some people that are still just waiting to see what's going to happen. And people are distracted by the election and, COVID and all this and that. So that's a long answer, but we pivoted quickly. And, luckily we made the right decision. We're still doing online virtual training, and we have people now in, I think, 7 states. So we've, people that move, we look at, okay, this, you can either look at why things won't work, or you can look, how can I use this? Okay, we've got this virtual training. We've got these clients who moved out of state that loved us. Let's reach out to them and offer them virtual training. And so we started doing that. And now we have, I think, again, 7 states, and now we're getting referrals. We're still probably about 70% in studio and 30%, virtual training, which it's become a new source and, a new revenue stream for us that we never would have had.
Right. And I think you said a couple things in there too, which I think is really important for any business owner that's trying to figure out how do they get through this. And you said you started marketing and you never stopped. And I bring that out because I see that all the time. You get a client that says, well, money's tight. That's the first thing they try to cut. And it's their lifeblood that it takes time sometimes as that catches up. But it's helping you out because you hung in the game. It's basically you outlasted the rest that stopped.
100%.
You get what I'm saying?
100%. Things like this, again, and I'm not taking it lightly. I hate that people are hurting. I hate that people are, a lot of businesses have gone under, are really struggling. But it really is, things like this separate the strong from the weak. It's easy to make money when the economy's great, everything's great. But when things get tough, it really separates both from a service standpoint. People are still spending money. We're a high, both my in-person and online. It's not inexpensive, and it's what a lot of people would consider discretionary, personal training, fitness coaching. I don't consider it discretionary, especially if you're a business owner or executive and your body is your biggest asset, but a lot of people do. So people are spending money, but they're not going to spend money unless the value is there. So you've got to have the value in your service, and you've got to be able to market that and get that message out to the world, which, like with Facebook ads, I'm sure you're seeing it. The cost for advertising is so much lower than it used to be because there's not as many people doing it.
Well, yeah. And Facebook is, obviously right now it's loaded up like crazy with, or has been loaded up with crazy with all the political ads, but the cost to advertise is lower than ever, and not just on Facebook, but we do a lot of other exchange advertising. So across all the other, on your mobile apps and desktop and over the top television, which is picking up, and you see so much opportunity there for businesses to be known or get known, right? Especially as people hunker down, it was like it became such a prime opportunity to get their attention, because it's not that people didn't have money. They were just in that froze moment.
Yeah.
So you had to wake them up. So how do you think this will change business going forward? Now that you kind of have a taste now, you said you're in 7 states, like, and before things hit this year, you were just local. That was it. Right.
Yeah.
So
I have my local 2 studios, then I have my online division, and this, without getting into my full business model, that's what clicked for me, how I'm going to 10x my business. It's like, okay, I've had these 2 studios, doing about 1.3 million in revenue, and it's like, you can only grow 2. There's room to grow. I can probably do $1 million per studio, but there's a cap. I can either open more studios, which is an option, and then I had this online business where I'm doing this personal coaching with these guys, and that's a good business, but there's a cap on that. And so I realized that I can scale the online business tremendously larger by doing basically the same model, getting coaches, great coaches to help support, my online people. And then the one-on-one, which is different than the one-on-one Zoom training, is one thing we're doing. And then another, option is for people who don't want to do the one-on-one training. They want to train in their gym or whatever, but they need that coaching, they need that accountability, they need that, nutrition education, all those kinds of things.
So here, last question for you, because I know, and it depends upon how much time you got here too, real quick. This was from Charles Johnson. He asked, what was the biggest obstacle you've had and accomplishing your goals, and how would you use that to inspire a new generation of entrepreneurs to better navigate? And I think we covered a lot of this, but biggest obstacle.
I'm going to give you 2, Charles, if that's okay. And I appreciate the question. So when I decided, I'm a CPA by trade. So I, went to school, got my undergrad and master's in accounting just because my friends were doing it. Accounting made sense to me. I knew I'd have a good paying job, but I knew fitness was what I loved. So I'm in the corporate world. I'm working, late nights, eating, too much, drinking, partying. 27 years old, as I told, entered the physique transformation contest, won, knew this is what I was put on earth to do. Quit my job. I quit my job just knowing I was going to go do this, and my mom was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? My dad, I remember, he's very conservative. He worked for Bell South Phone Company for 40 years before he passed away at like 60 years old. And so I'm kind of scared, I have so much respect for my dad. He's like, I remember when I told my dad, or I remember when he was talking about my granddad, his father said, what are you going to do once you finish college? And my dad told his dad, my granddad, I don't know, but I'm going to be successful at it. I know you're going to be successful at whatever you do. It really gave me a lot of confidence. So anyway, I decided, okay, I'm quitting my job, I'm opening this new studio. In that same time frame, my dad got sick, passed away, went from perfectly healthy to dead in 7 weeks, went through a divorce. And, I was like just getting hit with all this stuff. I say getting hit, my response, I have to take my part of the responsibility too.
Right.
I had to keep moving forward with my business. And that's, again, the one thing I could go back to is my workouts. I'm going to keep my body healthy. I'm going to keep my mind as sharp as I can. So being able to, starting a business, with no money is stressful enough. Having your best friend pass away, having your wife, leave you. And this is the first wife. I'm married now to the most amazing woman in the world, to be clear. And so that was tough. And then I'll give you the second one. Is a lot of people don't even know this about me. So at 30 years old, I started having pains in my hips, and I went to get an x-ray, and I was bone-on-bone arthritis in my left hip. So that sucks. And it really hurt, and I toughed it out. I gutted it out. I did chiropractic. I did massage. I did, prolotherapy, everything I could do naturally. Finally, at 41 years old, I decided to have a hip replacement because it was just, I could barely walk. And people I talked to said, oh man, I had one. It's the best thing I ever did. But I'm like, I'm an athlete. I'm a 41-year-old athlete. Like, I need to be able to run and jump and lift weights. And, surgeons like, yep, you'll be at 95% of your hip. And so have it done. Everything goes well. 7 days after surgery, I'm making protein pancakes. I seriously can't make this up. And drops a little blop on the ground. And I'm like, should I clean it up or should I just wait for, get my wife to do it? And I was like, I'll clean it up. I think I'm being smart. Long story short, I get in the wrong position. My hip dislocates, which I knew was a possibility, but it's like a less than 1% chance. And I remember the surgeon said, just don't do any crazy yoga poses. Like, you'll be fine. Hip dislocates. I was in shock. The worst feeling in the world, putting your leg down and there's just nothing there. I realize I'm about to pass out. So I get to the ground. Luckily I have my cell phone with me and I call my wife, call 911, they come in and then the pain starts coming in. And like, I have a pretty high tolerance for pain, but it was literally unbearable. And they got me in the ambulance. They start pumping me full of, drugs and stuff. I'm like, that's not doing anything. Like I'm 225 pounds, but they wouldn't give me any more because they have their protocol. So they bring me into the emergency room. I'm sitting there for 5 hours. They have to x-ray it to make sure it's dislocated. I'm like, guys, I'm sure it's dislocated.
Yeah, I kind of know what's going on here.
Yeah. And so I think they're going to have to perform surgery. Like, no, we just, we relocate it. So they literally sedate you, which they didn't sedate me. Shotgun my leg back in. It was the most pain. I screamed like the whole hospital's, here's it, get it back in. But anyway, guys, like I was, it's the closest thing I can relate to what I think, PTSD, would be like from war. And I'm not going to compare it to that, but I couldn't sleep. I had nightmares. I was terrified to walk. And I did the worst thing you could do. I start Googling hip dislocation. It's the worst thing you can do. So I see people saying, yeah, mine's come out 3 times. Mine's come out 12 times. And I literally, guys, like I thought I'm this fit, like this is my life. I'm this fitness guy. I've got my newborn son and I'm like, I'm going to be this gimp in a wheelchair that just can't do anything. And this is just 4 years ago.
Wow.
And it was, I was in a dark place. And then I just one step at a time, I said, I got to get back to the gym. So 5 weeks later, I'm back doing upper body, super light. And then it's been a long journey for me. Like, I don't know if the dislocation had anything to do with it, but most people say 6 weeks, no pain. Like I've had pain just in the last year. I'm almost pain-free. It still bothers me a little, but it's feeling pretty freaking good. But that was after 4 years of physical therapy and chiropractors and, trying all different kinds of things. But basically, because I was bone on bone for so long, I created all these muscular imbalances. So maybe this can help somebody specific who's listening, who's got some kind of pain. The doctors fixed the joint or the bone or whatever. But if you have, so that's the hard tissue, or that's the hard, tissue. But if you've got the soft tissue problems and all your muscles, ligaments, that kind of stuff, because of imbalances, if you don't fix that, you're still going to be in pain. So I finally got that well. The right hip is almost bone on bone, so it hurts, but I've learned how to do things to manage that pain. I'm not in a rush to go have my hip replacement. So Charles, to answer your question, brother, those are the 2 hardest things. As tough as, I don't know if I can pick one that's harder. They were both hard, but the point is, like, I believe if you look for a way to move forward, you're never done. But there's always a way to move forward. And I'm smart enough to know and grateful enough to know, like, yeah, that sucks that my hip's never going to be the same. And I do have limitations, but I can train legs. I trained legs yesterday. I did, some barbell squats, which I never thought I'd be able to do again. I'm not doing as heavy as I could, but there's people who have literally no arms and legs, that are making a great life. So, you got to keep, whatever life throws your way, you got to figure out how to use it and move forward.
Right. So really it's at that moment, you got to start keep looking for those ways to move forward and take action on those things.
Yeah.
If we were to,
I did one quick thing. It seemed, even through the whole story that we've been talking here, it seems, and I don't know how much of this you were doing at those kind of hard points in your life, but it seems like you've been, one of the key aspects to it is that you've been connected, coming back and going through what you're grateful for, but you're staying connected to the goals that you're setting. You're staying connected to, you're always kind of coming back to that place about what you are trying to achieve, even if you're in a dark place, maybe you don't do it as disciplined as you should. I mean, to me, that's kind of what keeps coming. I keep coming back to it in your story is it seems that you always had something to go, you know what? I know it sucks. I know it hurts, but I got to just take one more step. Today, I need to take one more step. I mean, what is it that has really kept you grounded in that?
I mean, 100%. I mean, one thing I learned, so, Tony Robbins, one of my early mentors, he talks about like, I think a lot of people see me, oh, you're so positive. Like, how are you so positive? Like, it's not natural. It takes work.
Right.
I can be just as negative, depressed as anybody else. And I think that's important to know. And I used to go through this and be like, oh man, I'm depressed. What's wrong with me? Nothing wrong with you. You're freaking human. Like, we go through different emotions. But what I learned from Tony is you don't live there, and how to get out of that. And Grant talks about this too. A lot of top performers talk about this. It's not that you don't get depressed or frustrated or have a bad day. You get through that shit real quick. Whereas, some people, they have a bad event happen and, they never let it go. It defines them. Some people it takes years, some people it takes months, some people it takes days. My rule, if is like, really like 5-10 minutes. Now, if it's something bigger, maybe I'll give myself a day to mope, but then it's over. Like, it's time to move forward. And if, here's the deal. Like, if you have a mindset that you're going to figure out a solution, then you very likely are. And, hey, maybe something will be permanent. I don't know where there's ever a situation where you can't find positivity in it. But let's say I never did fix my hip. Well, if I had the mindset of I'm just going to give up, there's 100% chance, I'm not going to succeed. If I at least have that mindset, I'm going to try to figure it out. At least you got a shot, right?
Right. Some people, like you said, they go get the T-shirt, they get the coffee mug, they get the hat made, and the bumper sticker too.
That's right.
And it's like you don't need all that stuff. You just need to get through it as quick as possible.
Yeah, so, it becomes their identity for getting attention. Exactly.
Fantastic. Hey, Russ, thank you so much for all your time. How can people work with you? In fact, we got a link here. Tell us about this. How can people work with you?
Oh yeah, perfect. So I have a 30-day, this ultimate30daytransformation.com. It's a 30-day kickstart body transformation program, and it's pretty intense. But you'll get significant results in 30 days. And there you go. And like I said, it's for people who want to get that jump start. Want to lose significant fat. Feel better in 30 days. You actually will get access to me for coaching as well. And so happy to give that to your audience there and help people get going. Now, 30 days is not going to completely transform your body and life. I tell people it takes 6 months to completely transform your life, because you've got enough time to make physical changes, like significant physical changes when you do the right things. And gives you time to get the mindset. So it just becomes like brushing your teeth, which I know that sounds weird to people, but it just becomes a part of your life. 1 to 3 months, you can make some significant physical changes. But the cool thing is you're one workout away from changing your mood and your mindset.
That's great. I love that.
Awesome. And these aren't like iStock photos. These are real results.
These are real results. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
I've got a bunch more as well. And I do a lot of ladies ask, well, does this work for ladies? Yes. I work with a lot of guys, being a guy, that's my niche, relating to guys, but I definitely work for ladies. And that's one, without going into too much detail, a lot of people think men and women should train dramatically differently. I disagree with that. There's a few minor differences, mostly in the number of calories, women need to get and in the amount of protein they need, but the training should be very similar.
Awesome.
In my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, guys, if you want to work with Russ, there's the link right down below. And what we'll do is we'll have a recording of this. We'll put that link connected with it. So that way, if you can't find it, by all means, we're going to make it so you can easily access it. Russ, thank you so much. Let's see. We had a couple. Yeah. Okay. Can you start from, okay, well, here's one question. This was from my lovely wife. She's asking, hey, for that 30-day transformation, can you start from zero?
When you say zero, I say you mean not doing anything.
Sure.
Yeah. The answer is yes. Now it's intense, so that's why you're going to want to adjust it to you. But again, if you go on there, you'll get access to me you'll get access to my private coaching accountability group. and access to me for questions. And so, what I recommend people do is read through, any of my programs, my Body Transformation University, which is my longer program. I tell them, read through it, watch the videos, and then come up with what are your goals, first of all. How many days, where are you starting from? Do you have any injuries? Do you have any restrictions we need to work through? What kind of gym access do you have? Or are you going to work out at home? Are you going to work out at the gym? How many days a week are you going to work out? And then we figure out, customize your calories and macronutrients to you. And then we, get you going. And, so that's a long answer, but yeah, I work with, people who have literally never stepped foot in the gym, all the way up to people who are in great shape but just want to take it to another level.
Awesome. I can tell you're passionate about it. And that's, it shows you really do care about what you do. And I think that's another big differentiator for successful business guys like yourself is you have to care, deep down. It can't just be some surface feeling of what you do to make it come to life. You're not going to get the results.
So much, dude. I could talk with you guys all day. I love you guys. But it's a simple thing, really care. And a lot of people say, oh, I care, I'm passionate. But people can tell, really give a shit whether your client is getting results or not and pour into them. And if you just do that and do what you say you're going to do, you're separating yourself from, unfortunately, the norm in society and business today. Yeah.
It's such a small degree, isn't it?
Yeah. Small degree.
Just a small degree,
Makes you feel better about yourself. If you give, half effort or 75% effort, your clients are going to know and you're going to know. You're not going to feel great about yourself.
Yeah. Awesome. Again, Russ, thank you so much for jumping on and joining us for our episode 1. I think this will definitely carry on for episode 2. And so, and by all means, everyone. So next week we're bringing on Rob Sislow from Sislow Ventures. The guy is a whiz. He's just insane on the branding. And what we want to do is connect you with guys like Russ, like Rob Sislow, like Gina Daner. They have information that they've used in business, how they've overcome their struggles. We want to make sure that people see that, hey, listen, you can be successful. It just takes the action to get there and go. You have to take that intentional action and just simply, you can't fake it. And you gotta be willing to hang in the game long enough. I think a lot of people, they look for that instantaneous easy button and it's not there in business.
Absolutely.
Russ.
I appreciate you guys. I enjoyed it.
Appreciate you too as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Grab Russ's offer, light him up. We'll put the link along with the post. We'll get it on the live. And any other questions, by all means, always reach out. And Russ, again, we'll have to do this again.
Love to. Best of luck to you guys with the podcast. I know it's going to be tremendously successful.
Fantastic. Thank you, Russ. All right. Everyone, be great. Catch us online. We're going to go ahead and put up the way that you can connect with us right there. And we still got Russ's offer. I'm going to leave that going there for everybody. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and definitely go register on the website. So again, everyone be great. Thanks for tuning in this morning for episode 1 of Be Growth Driven.
Hey guys.